hearing will be held in the next hour for a former NSA contractor charged with stealing top-secret information. Federal prosecutors are releasing new information in the case through a court filing, and they describe the scope of the theft by Harold Martin as, quote, breathtaking. They also say they seized 50,000 gigabytes of information from Martin, capable of storing hundreds of thousands of documents and images. Greg Jarrett is a Fox News anchor and attorney, and he's great at weighing in on these big stories. Greg, is there any evidence that this gentleman gave this information to anyone or any country?
So far, there's no evidence that he gave it to anybody who was unauthorized. Compare that to Hillary Clinton, who did. She gave national defense information to somebody who didn't have clearance, security clearance. Sidney Blumenthal. Did the Russians and the Chinese hack his emails and get their hands on it? So one can argue what she did was more egregious and potentially damaging to national security than what Martin did.
So why are we covering a hearing for Martin but haven't covered a hearing for Hillary Clinton?
Well, that's very interesting, and that's the great mystery, isn't it? Because when you look at it on principle, they both did the same thing. He stored classified information at his home unauthorized. She stored classified information on her personal server at home unauthorized. The big difference is, of course, he admitted that he had classified documents and it was against the law. Hillary Clinton admitted nothing. To the contrary, she insisted that it was all for convenience, didn't realize it was against the law, and then also argued, gee, I didn't really recognize classified documents when I saw them.
Was there a difference in the content, though, Greg, and what this gentleman had versus what the Secretary of State had?
Yeah, I mean, both possess top-secret documents that could potentially harm America. And in fact, I'm looking here at the criminal complaint against Martin. It says he had at his home specific operational plans against a known enemy of the U.S. Well, guess what? So did Hillary Clinton. In fact, she had operational plans for the locations of potential drone strikes. She had transcripts of conversation between foreign agents. She even had the identity of undercover CIA operatives. My goodness, talk about potential damage to national security and human lives.
Well, just 30 seconds here, Greg. Does it just come down to intent and what someone intended to do with that information?
Yeah, except that under the Espionage Act, it can also be gross negligence. And of course, at his news briefing, Director James Comey of the FBI laid out a solid case for gross negligence under the Espionage Act, and then in the same breath said, but we're not going to prosecute. So the whole thing is a bit of a mystery.
Gives us a lot to think about. As always. Greg, thank you.
Sure.
Weekend is here, a comedy film with an espionage